Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the iBroke ER. Today's patient is an iPhone 6. It's pretty mashed up here in the corner. Apparently it only fell from about 2 feet. Phone looks straight. Edges are good. It's going to be a straightforward display off, new display on. So let's get started. Pentalobe screwdriver. Remove the 2 pentalobe screws in the bottom, which hold the screen in place. I've been doing a lot of iPhone 6s in the last couple of weeks, so I'm getting good at them. A little bit of self-promotion. Take the eye slack and boom, it's open. We are inside. We have penetrated the exterior. Very first thing we want to do is put our pentalobe screwdriver away. Disconnect the battery. Very, very important on any repair. Disconnect the battery first. As you're disconnecting other cables and connectors, and you could surge the power and blow out a backlight fuse. And that's just adding more to the job. You either have to jump the backlight fuse or you have to replace it. And either one is just a lot more work. So your profitability goes bye-bye. Very careful. Each one of these screws that you're removing goes on its corresponding spot on your part chart. Whatever you have, something to identify what screw goes where, because 0.1 of a millimeter difference in these screws. If you put a wrong screw in a wrong hole, again, you're going to break the traces on the motherboard. Underneath some of these screw holes is like a series of 7 traces. And tightening down a screw too tight onto the motherboard because it's the wrong screw and it's too long, you're going to muff up. I'm going to put something behind the screen so that it doesn't fall back too far, and you're going to mess up anywhere from 5, 6, 7 of those traces. So again, not good news. Make sure your screws always... I forgot to disconnect the battery. I took the screws out, forgot to disconnect it. I'll get in here with a spudger. There we go. Battery's disconnected. Now we can disconnect the LCD display, the digitizer, oh, I'm being stubborn. Sometimes a fingernail works just as good. There we go. Cameras, audio. We're going to set that aside for now. We're going to focus on the screen. Three screws up here in your earpiece and front-facing camera. Again, very careful. Put down the screws in the order that you took them out. Okay, that's the cover. Front-facing camera. There's the earpiece. Now, let's take off this EMF shield. 3 screws on each side. Screw at the top, which is taken out by the earpiece, and screw at the bottom. EMF shield basically just protects the screen from interference from any of the electrical parts, any radio waves, any magnetic waves going on inside the phone. If you don't have EMF shielding, every time your phone does something, you're going to see artifacts and interference on your screen. You don't want that. Okay. Got one more here. Very important on these phones with Touch ID, you have to take, as long as it's in good shape, you have to take the original home button with the chip and move it to your new, because the Touch ID is married to your motherboard for security reasons. It's all encrypted. It's yeah, the Touch ID is married to the motherboard. If you have to replace the home button's smashed, it's not there, whatever, no more Touch ID. A Touch ID will only work with that chip married to this motherboard. Up there. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes, you know, the phone's been badly damaged and the home button is not there, it's non-existent. They're going to lose their Touch ID functionality. Now, I'm going to heat this up just a little bit. Turn on my heating station. There's a little bit of adhesive that is much easier to peel that off. You don't want to break anything, and then you have to buy new parts. We don't like buying new parts if we don't have to. We like to reuse and recycle. It's better for the environment, it's better for the pocketbook, it's better for profitability. Notice I'm drinking coffee. My coffee is put down far outside my workstation. Even if something gets bumped or we have an earthquake or whatever, coffee is not going to, and hey, earthquakes happen in Western Quebec more often than you know. But yeah, my coffee will not spill onto any electronic parts that I'm working on. I just need a little bit of heat, so I'm going to try that. That should be good. We're getting in here, and we're very carefully going to put our thumb right at that and lift up. There we go. That's the piece there we didn't want to rip. It's a flex cable. It runs all the way up the back of the EMF shield. Now, while it's still hot, we can push out the home button. And again, it's got the chip on it for the Touch ID. Very careful, that all comes up together and is going to go in the new unit. Now, let's see if we've still got enough heat to turn around and take off our front-facing camera. And the microphone is just glued on. In previous ones there was a little tube that the microphone went inside a grommet. No, we don't have enough heat. Let's heat that up a bit more. Yeah, the microphone actually had a little tube on it that went inside a grommet. And get your minds out of the gutter. On the new iPhones, the microphone is actually just a sensor and it's glued onto the assembly, or with a strip of adhesive. I don't like to say glue because glue is a liquid. Glue is gooey. Glue is adhesive is already on die cut strips, and adhesive's a lot easier to work with. Okay, let's try that now. There we go. Okay, we brought up the adhesive with it we don't need because it's on the other phone, on the other screen. Yeah, see, the microphone actually, oh, there's a little hole through it, but there's no tube. There's your light filter, your proximity sensor. Sorry, backwards. Proximity sensor, light filter. And the light filter's got a little purplish glow to it. Now, because it's a white screen, or sorry, it's a black screen, here's the new one. Haha. We need to put this little white piece of paper sticker, whatever, needs to be moved over. On a white phone, the plastic is white, so you don't need it. But on a black phone, this little piece of paper doodad has to get moved over. It's being stubborn. You know, when I'm not filming, these come off super simple. When I'm filming, well, you know what? I would rather that it do this while I'm filming so that I can show you. Sometimes it requires a bit of extra effort. You know, it's not always super simple. Let's take that proximity sensor spacer, put it down. Now maybe we'll have a little more room to get in at this. Break that off. So we don't need this frame anyways. There it is. A little tiny goes on right there. Again, Murphy's Law prevails. Ah, it's like stuck. Come on, sucker. Okay, I'm gonna nudge that down in there. There we are. Take the spudger and press it down. There should be enough sticky stuff on the back of it just to, yeah, perfect. Now we're going to take the camera spacer off the old unit. There we go. And transfer that to the new unit. Like so. Now, like I was telling you, there's a little piece of adhesive already put in this. That's going to mount the microphone. There's a little set hole in the top of the microphone here. It goes on the little nipple that's here. I love being able to say nipple at work. Shh. Okay, so we move the camera out of the way. We put down our proximity sensor and our light filter. They rest inside their respective holes. Now once we've got that, we can bring the earpiece and the camera goes down over top of the earpiece. There's two little plastic nubs that, like so. The cover goes on, and again those little plastic nubs come up through holes in the cover, so everything lines up nicely. If you're okay, let's just wheel that around a bit until it goes in like such. Let's take a look and make sure that that's all. Yeah, looks pretty good. So now, take screwdriver, go long screw in first, hold everything down while you put your other two screws in. Oh, and that fell out. There we go. Put that back down, put the long screw in. You know what? I got ahead of myself here, sorry. I'm gonna put the EMF cover on first. So we'll take those back out. I can wait a minute. Let's fix this EMF cover. Okay, there is a piece of adhesive that just holds this in place. It can come off. Just prevents this flex cable from flopping all around in transit. No other purpose. Take it off. Okay, so that piece gets folded down. Now it's very, very worth mentioning. There's a flex cable right here. You do not want to crease it or anything. You want to just, it should have that little loop in it. You don't want to flatten it, crease it. You'll break the inside parts. Okay, and put the little screw in the bottom. Okay. Now we can put in our home button. Two little plastic nubs that it sits on. There. Little connector. You want to make sure it snaps. You don't want to force it. Very delicate. There we go, it snapped. Home button cover. Two screws that secure the home button cover. And both these screws are identical in size, so you can move. There's one. Here's two. Home button assembly is down. Quickly. Yeah, it's clicking, it's springing. So now we'll turn around and we'll put side screws in. Securing the electromagnetic shield. 3 on each side. All 6 of these screws are the same size. And these ones are super tiny and very easy to lose. That's why we work with magnetic surfaces. This pad is magnetic, my parts chart's magnetic, screwdriver's magnetic. If it does bounce on the floor, I've got a magnetic telescopic wand. It's got a magnet that'll suck up 3 pounds. That I can search for it. That's the sucker right there. Oh, product placement. But yeah, that magnet will suck up 3 pounds. An object that's 3 pounds. Okay. Camera spacer goes back in. Okay. So now we can go. The reason I knew I got ahead of myself is when I was screwing in the cover plate for the camera here, the earpiece. As I was screwing in the cover plate, the screw seemed like it was too long. That's because it wasn't being shimmed with the electromagnetic shield. Now with the electromagnetic shield shimming it, it should be about perfect. Okay. Get the camera in there. Get that all. There we go. Again, before we screw it in, we just make sure that everything's sitting the way it should in there. 4 contacts, they're springs. Camera flex goes down over top of them. That looks darn good if I say so myself. Okay. So again, the screws go back in the order that they came out. The long screw always goes in top dead center. Most of these iPhones, there's a long screw that is part of the earpiece assembly, and it always goes in top dead center. So for some odd reason, a freak windstorm comes up and messes up your screws, at least you know the long one that could really do damage. You know where it goes. Okay, that's in, that's in, that's in. The screen's reassembled. Oh, okay. Screws on the other side. That's another reason why using screw charts, you can see exactly where you're at. What screw's been put in, what screw hasn't. We got 3 screws down the side of the shield. Very straightforward disassembly and reassembly. Actually, used to really like the 5Cs, but I think the 6s are a lot easier. A few extra screws, but just there, we're done. They're a lot easier to work with. So we'll bring back the frame of the phone. Touch screen goes on first, followed by the backlight and the display. These little FPC connectors, push-on connectors, you want to be careful. You want to make sure that they snap, but you don't want to force them, because when you break the teeth in them, all of a sudden you're looking at having to mail it away for circuit board work. It's expensive, it's timely, so you just want to have some patience and as I was saying, there we go, that's in. Now LCD. No, this is, sorry, this is the audio. My mistake. That's your earpiece and microphone. And this is your home button, your Touch ID. Everything's in, pressed down firmly. We can go and put the shield back on it. This shield basically serves 2 purposes. It shields, again, from electromagnetic force fields, and it also keeps all these flexes that we've just attached held down in place. I like to put the center one in first. It just keeps everything else quasi lined up. I guess it provides like a pivot point, is what I meant to say. There, now we can adjust accordingly. Put the long one in. In the corner. You don't need to really tighten the screws overly tight. Finger tight is fine. You don't need to reef on them. You don't want to reef on them because, like I said, you can damage if the screw's in too tight. It scrapes the traces, it scrapes the circuits on the board. And it costs you time and money. Last screw. Of course, it doesn't want to line up. But by rights, it should line up because every other screw is already in place. There we go. Maybe it was just my eyesight that wasn't lining up. The joys of getting old. Okay, we attach our battery, put the battery cover on. Battery screws are different sizes, so please mind. The longer screw goes in this hole. And the shorter screw goes in the other hole. Basically, that's it. We'll do a dry run now. Apple logo is always a good sign. That's one of the happiest points in any repair, is when you see that Apple logo. Turn off my reheat station. We're waiting for it to boot. Use that time to clean up the work area a little bit. Throw garbage in the garbage. Okay. I'll grab an icon and move it all over the screen. That worked good. Cameras. Yeah. Yep. A short video. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Volume up, volume down. Yeah. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Okay. Delete. Okay. Another thing you want to do, should have done it at the beginning, but before you close the phone up, is take out the SIM card. Okay. So, oh, I wanted to test the phone earpiece. Let's go. There's the extras folder. Looking for the sound app. Voice memos. No. There we are, utilities. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. That all works. Last thing we checked is the proximity sensor. Put it up to my ear. No sim, okay. Everything seems to be working good. We're gonna close all the apps out. Wow. That's really hard on his battery. He's got apps and apps and apps and apps and apps and apps. Wow. Make note. Tell the client. Jeez. The neat thing about these newer iPhones, they've got enough under the hood. They can run all these apps without crashing. Okay. Here, let's turn the phone off. There's a lip up there. The screen needs to get underneath. Which it's not. Oh, come on. Okay, put it down, just not a lot of force, but just make sure everything's in place. Pentalobe screwdriver. Screw number 1. Come on down. Hold it sort of firm as you're tightening it in. Pentalobe screw number 2. Come on down. You're the next contestant. Okay. So now, one more quick test. Big air bubble. Gone. I always like to try and give our devices back to the clients with a full charge, regardless of what they come in with. So, plug that in. Can begin charging. I'll reclaim that LCD later, so into the graveyard it goes. Yeah, these iPhone 6s are a really nice, straightforward repair. No SIM card. There you go. Okay, it's reading the SIM card. Trust. Close. Let's do it really quick. Cameras. Yeah. Okay.
Bienvenue au service météorologique d'Environnement Canada. Welcome to the environment. For the Metro Montreal and Laval regions, press the public forecast, press 1. Environment Canada forecast issued at 12:07 p.m. Wednesday, June 29th for today and Thursday. Today, mainly cloudy. A few showers this afternoon with risk of a thunderstorm. Winds becoming west 20 kilometers per hour this afternoon.
Mainly cloudy. I love it. It's bright and sunny out. But I said the same thing yesterday, and they were about 5 hours off the mark, but yeah, we got poured on. Okay, so everything is in order here. I'm gonna turn around and peel the protective cover off. Oh, my favorite part. Second favorite part of any repair. First is the Apple logo. Second is taking off the protective cover and seeing brand new, you know, that brand new screen with no scratches, no fingerprints, no nothing on it. It'll be the last time you see it like that. I equate that to like new car smell. Taking that protective cover off is the phone equivalent of new car smell. So there you have it. iPhone 6, successful screen, reinstallation, replacement. That's the word I was looking for. Once again, don't forget to like us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We do Canada-wide mail-in repairs. During the postal strike, if it happens, we'll be using UPS, insured with tracking. We get your device back to you as quickly as possible. That's about it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and talk to you again real soon.